Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner, and today we're going to be talking about Somnium Space. So, in the last couple of episodes that we've done, we've been focusing on the metaverse, and Somnium Space just received a nifty little update, a little airdrop, if you will, from the Winklevi twins, and so they invested in Somnium Space, and just yesterday on October 28th. Facebook just updated their name to Meta. What do you think about that?
What a coincidence, dude. Who could have seen that one coming? Yeah, actually, you know what? I just didn't think it would be that blatantly obvious, or what's the word I'm looking? Just so blunt of a name.
Yeah,
they want a much more established metaverse identity as a company, right? And I don't know, they could have got a little more creative with it, but fuck it. Meta's pretty cool. It has very good applicability, right? The term meta is very widely used these days for, it's, I think it basically like
encompasses everything.
It encompasses like a higher form of being, a higher form of existence, a higher form of anything. That's what meta is, right?
Yeah.
So that's how Mark Zuckerberg feels in his plums, dude. He feels like a higher existence, a higher being amongst us plebs, I guess. So he's like, you know what? We're calling ourselves Meta, dude. And because of that, he's kind of bringing mass awareness again to the metaverse space, right?
Yeah.
People are paying attention. They want to know what the hell, why is Facebook going so ham in the metaverse, right? Like, that's the real question.
You know, I watched his presentation. It was about an hour and a half long, and he's saying a lot of the stuff that we've been saying for the last 2 years. And one of the most important things about the metaverse is interoperability. And so we hear this all the time from different projects, like interoperability at the protocol level, meaning blockchain interoperability. And that's nice and all, but until there's a reason to interoperate your NFT from one blockchain to another, it's just marketing fluff. But what's important from the metaverse perspective is interoperability between the worlds. So if you have an NFT that's a game or some asset, you want to be able to flex it in multiple metaverses. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're focused on. So the fact that, Facebook decided to choose Meta as a name, it sort of, I guess it makes sense, but man, that's our narrative. That's what we do, So it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. I think Zuckerberg is going to shoulder the burden of trying to onboard everybody to the metaverse. And then we're focused on the open metaverse in the sense that we want developers to create in multiple metaverses from a single platform. So yeah, I think we're in the right path, man.
Yeah, I think so. I think one of the main takeaways is their emphasis on, supporting creator ecosystems, which obviously we know is a big deal just by seeing the success of Roblox and like Second Life, things like this, right? Like that's what makes those communities thrive is it's not top-down development architecture that most companies use. It's more of like it's the open approach, allowing the community to create. And that's been our mission from day one. And I think it's going to be like a standard model pretty soon in the metaverse, as soon as the right tools are in place. But having said that, yes, things are happening like at a much quicker pace than we anticipated. I think this is pretty spot on from what I was projecting, right? Like for Metaverse Mania to kind of kick off around this time, the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's just now it's a question of which players within the metaverse space, because there really aren't that many, to be honest. Like, in the blockchain space, you can probably count them on two hands, right? Yeah. As far as real critical metaverse players. But
yeah, so let's set the stage. So I want to show Ethereum's price, which is hanging out at all-time highs right now. In the last 2 weeks, this is what Ethereum has done, and here's the entire existence of Ethereum right here. And so it peaked at 1,400 in 2017, and it's peaking exactly right now at 4,400.
Yeah.
And so the last 2 weeks looks like this. So it's gone up. But if you look at Decentraland, last 2 weeks, there was a spike towards the end. Somnium
Yeah.
Space.
Mhm.
Last 2 weeks, spiked towards the end. Same thing with Sandbox, spiked towards the end. So all these spikes represent the good old Zuckerberg making his entrance. But if you look at Somnium Space, they've had essentially 2 spikes. This is the investment of Tyler Winklevoss, and well, the twins really, and then this is Zuckerberg. So it's clear that we're going to see a large focus on the metaverse, and that's really why we're talking about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's important for everybody who's unfamiliarized with the concept of a metaverse to get familiar with it. And which is not an easy task because it's still so squirrely as far as like interpretations go. But there's movies that have been made. Ready Player One. You even watch the freaking Matrix, dude. Like that'll give you like some good inspiration as to what the metaverse can be. But basically, it's just like a technological layer for virtual existence, like for us to really become immersed with the protocols of the internet. It's very weird. It's very weird to conceptualize, but if you're a gamer or like a freaking social media addict, you're pretty much already in the metaverse like every single day of your life.
Yeah.
People are claiming like this is potentially a dystopic future, where people if we metaverse creators do too good of a job at creating virtual environments and ecosystems that just have tons of opportunity, or it's just fun, it's just more, more joy to be had in these worlds than the actual physical one that you kind of stuck with.
Yeah.
Then, the dystopic vision comes to life where you can kind of assume people will abandon the physical for that, right?
Yeah.
But that's the pessimistic view of what the metaverse can become. And we always got to have those debates, right? The good and the bad.
Yeah.
Dude, somebody's playing. Check it out.
Yeah, he's in.
Okay, so what are you showing right now?
I'm showing Corona Zombies, and I'm showing that this is Decentraland. So you can kind of run around anywhere you want in Decentraland. Here's the map. And so this is just an example of a metaverse. And I wanted to show what Decentraland did over the last week or so. They had a festival spanning maybe a couple of days, like 3 or 4 days or something like that. And they had Deadmau5 play in Decentraland. This is what it looked like. So this is just the smallest example of a use case in the metaverse. I think the biggest use case is contextualizing functions in the metaverse. So what does that mean? So think about SushiSwap or any DeFi protocol. You go to the website, it's not exactly clear what you can do. It's not obvious. But imagine if a yield farming application was running in the metaverse. It could look like a farm. And you interact with that farm and say, hey, stake your mana. And you can yield, 150%, over the year, APY. It's like, that's pretty obvious. Like you can see your money grow in the metaverse. And so making it more user friendly for protocols like DeFi is probably going to be the main or one of the main use cases of the metaverse.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think DeFi is kind of like in a limbo state right now. They had a huge catalyst moment last summer, right? And a huge adoption growth, but it was mostly from, people who already exist within the crypto ecosystem, right? We didn't onboard any new users, I don't think, because of DeFi.
Yeah, correct.
Because of what you're saying, it's intimidating. Like these protocols, they're not intuitive. Like they're not designed to service, regular people.
They're not.
but what does do that very well are video games. Usually game designers, they do a really good job at making intuitive experiences that are fun,
approachable.
People will actually interact and engage with them, and because there's profitability to be had, they're going to come back and they're going to keep playing those games.
Yeah.
So I think what you're basically breaking down is like play to earn. Right.
Yeah.
Essentially, is what play to earn is. It's gameplay functionality with real monetary incentives, and ultimately, it's opportunity, right, for the user of the metaverse.
Yeah, and then the equivalent, I guess, activities, I mean, can happen in Somnium Space. So Somnium Space is a virtual reality world where it requires your headset, right? And in order to be, well, I don't want to say requires, it enhances your experience if you put on a headset. But you can jump in with your computer, download the application, you kind of jump in. And so this is one of their...
to a Halloween party or something.
Yeah. There's the founder right there, Artur.
Is he the one singing?
He's definitely not.
Oh, he's dancing.
Yeah.
So this is what's cool. Like, you've always said the metaverse is going to be weird, right? Yeah. Like, you always hated the idea of people creating like standard model homes in Decentraland or anything we're familiar with in our physical reality. So you're like, well, if we're going to build virtual worlds, why not make them as fucking weird as possible?
Yeah.
Well, Somnium looks like they're on their way to that. It's just off the avatar creations they have, right?
Yeah.
So I like to see this, man. Like, so this is another side to the metaverse, right? More like the community and the social side, right?
Yeah. So,
and go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that we're seeing the early use cases of the metaverse. I mean, jumping in to listen to people sing is probably not everybody's like cup of tea, and listening to Deadmau5 is awesome. I mean, music is great, but I don't know if you're gonna have like general population jumping into the metaverse just for Deadmau5. So
yeah.
I mean, I think you will see a lot of people jumping in for Deadmau5, but I don't think you're going to have like DeFi focused like activity happening because you can listen to Deadmau5. So in other words, there's going to be a lot of use cases, a lot of applications that are going to happen within the metaverse that will start bringing in like all the people, right? You could basically do everything within the metaverse. So I guess that's why we're focused on the metaverse. We know this has happened. We know this was gonna happen for the last 2 years. I mean, that's why we were working on MetaZone for this long, and it's finally starting to catch a wave here. And yeah, that's the main idea of this video, is to identify exactly why this is happening.
Why it's happening? I think it's just time, dude. I think we just happen to enter this space at like the right time, like I don't know, every day like the real world seems gloomier and gloomier and gloomier, at least from my perspective, like by the day.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not alone in this assessment. And I think that's a prime opportunity for virtual platforms to kind of give people an alternative, like an escape, right? More escapism from, whatever issues you have in your real life. And we're already seeing it with Play to Earn. Axie Infinity did that. There's a huge population playing that game purely because it's opportunity for them, right? It's enhancing their lives in many ways. So I think it's just good timing, dude. And I think big forces in this world understand that. We have Facebook, Roblox, Fortnite, a lot of big tech companies, they're starting to pay attention. They're going to participate, right? And yeah, this isn't something that's going to blow up tomorrow. It's going to take a decade probably,
Yeah, and a lot of the primitives to make this, to enable this open and ownable metaverse are not there yet.
Right? Yeah.
And I feel like we are working on one of those primitives. And I mean, I'm sure Facebook is going to be doing the same thing. So having competitors means that there's huge opportunities, and the bigger the competitors are, the bigger the opportunities are. So so yeah, if there's a sector in the crypto space that's starting to gain competitors of the size of Facebook, you have to be paying attention.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about the metaverse space, though, because I don't think it got much respect. Like projects like Decentraland, Somnium, and Sandbox, they just didn't get respect because it didn't feel. Again, there's no big bad wolf in the room, like there is for Bitcoin and DeFi, and
yes, that's true.
There's no real, disruptive potential to a metaverse, I guess. I mean,
Well,
in that context, at least, right?
Yeah.
But now that we do have these traditional companies who already have these PR nightmares as far as like data control
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and then now they're claiming they want to build the next version of the internet.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? So we clearly have the right narrative like in place to kind of, you know, work in opposition to that, where we are not going to allow that, right? As a collective, as a metaverse community, that's not how we want things to be run.
Mhm.
So all of a sudden, Decentraland makes a lot of sense, right?
Mhm.
Before it's like, why build this decentralized metaverse, dude? It makes things slower.
Mhm.
You know, it makes developing a nightmare,
Mhm.
right? Like, why not, you know, put it all on one server like any other game?
Yeah.
You know, and let's just do it. But yeah, no, all of a sudden, you know, it
Decentraland
makes sense.
a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
These decentralized metaverses make sense. And
Mhm.
just to make some more sense, Somnia Space, with the investment from the Winklevi, market cap $100 million, right? Is pretty calm.
I would consider undervalued. I mean, in comparison to, you know, their neighboring verses, right?
Yeah. Decentraland 1.6 billion. That's a 16x, right? Sandbox at $1 billion, 10x.
Yeah.
So Somnia Space has a lot of room to grow by far.
Yeah, they're going to have a much more difficult adoption challenge, I think, because just VR is just not there yet. You know,
However,
VR is.
they got Facebook now. Facebook is VR, or sorry, Facebook Meta. I don't think I'll ever get used to that.
Or I guess their prototype metaverse called Horizons going to be VR, right?
Yeah.
So you're right. And then if that's the case, and you know, Facebook is going to succeed as far as like onboarding users, just because they just have so many of them. If they could just get 1% of their user base on their VR platform, like they did it, you know, and they're going to do it. But yeah, they're going to get people familiarized with, I guess, that experience and get them comfortable with it. Then yeah, something like Somnium probably will be like, you know, comfortable for people to transition to, you know.
1% of Facebook is about 30 million people.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's bonkers. If you have 30 million people logging into Horizon every day, I mean,
yeah.
Imagine that. Like,
yes.
From an economic standpoint, like how much activity is going on in there, you know?
Yeah. And Somnium Space, you know, it's not too far away, right? It's the application that's next door, right?
Mm-hmm.
You download it, you get into it, right? There's not a whole lot of activation energy required to get into Somnium Space.
Yeah.
So that's been a video about Somnium Space and really all of the metaverses. And yeah, make sure you follow us on the Block Runner at the Block Runner on Twitter, and like and subscribe. Let us know what you think about the metaverse. Is this something new to you guys? Is this something that you believe is going to be, you know, another application layer of blockchain and economic interaction? And yeah, let us know in the comment section below, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace out.